So today's, or rather this morning's analysis, we opened up in range and quietly leaving or retesting that range that was directly above you. So the analysis, and today, I did try to pop off the top, if you will. And if it did go and break, obviously we were looking at that first green candle to our left at 568. That is where we're heading. Lord knows how we respond to that. And that is my question here. This is a weird area to be trading in, especially, basically what we're looking at is, are we climbing back in all-time highs? I'm not totally convinced, personally. I still see a lot of others. I see a lot of earnings going down. And here's the deal. If you're in a bear market or if there's bearish sentiment, I have seen it. You've probably seen it if you've had any time in the market. Good earning hits and it still dumps. I'm seeing a lot of those dumpies more than the rippers. There's a couple, but obviously with the Qs leaving behind so much empty space, leaving behind a bunch of fucking gaps, I know that there is a downside move in store. Now we can keep that in the back of our mind, but it doesn't need to be, worshipped until the levels that need to be lost are lost. Today's struggle, right, is tomorrow's signal. Damn, those kind of sounded kind of deep, didn't it? We got a box right here on the 15-minute. I would set your alerts, isn't it? If we can break down underneath or through that box, I will reinitiate a short. At this point, yeah, I'll probably look for a pretty nasty leg down if that was to occur. Now, there's just empty space underneath us. But to the upside is where it's like, I don't know if I really want to unless I'm aiming all the way back up to 574.85. And at this point, that's what needs to be on the table. So we'll wait here towards the end of the day on the ETFs to see how they want to close, if they want to hang on to these floors or return back to sender. But regardless, I don't have Shake Shack near me. But regardless, this is something that, again, today wasn't a great day with the open inside. If I'm looking at this on the 24-hour, I see a pop up 568.35, and then at that point, I could definitely see a reversal off of that. That would return us back to 565, and then we'll start looking at that potential down. So, all right. Now, before I go any further, tomorrow, data-wise, we're still, what the fuck? Oh, yeah, tomorrow, data-wise, we really only have unemployment claims. So if those come in under or above forecast, right, we could potentially see a reaction that could drive price up. So my prediction, if that's what you want to hear, is that we likely go up, retest this floor, or possibly even 569 on a lower time frame, and we could see a reversal off of that. Again, with all these holes underneath us, it's definitely something that I'm looking at, and it's probably going to be news-based, but if it does, he has an announcement at 4:30. Yeah, I'm swinging. Anyway, that being said, SPY, we have a similar but incomplete setup. This one's kind of easier to read with a 634.25 retest. Again, before you go down, we've already gone down a significant amount. A lot of the times you'll see a big rip to the upside, retesting the floor that you broke down from, resuming your trend, making a lower high. That being said, if we were to climb up onto that floor, 636.87. So unbiased, right? What is this candle close telling us right now? We'll see how this closes towards the end of the day. If it returns back under 631.80, not so spicy. So would I hedge QQQ or SPY? Absolutely. In these conditions, you could probably hedge pretty far out of the money for the worst case scenario. And for me, no, I'm not going into this without, if I take anything, if you take anything, it's up to you. But if I take anything, it, yes, will be hedged, period, end of story. Oh man, I should have put a double shot in that espresso tonic. All right, IWM, weird candle today. I'm not really super interested in IWM, but I will say the breakdown back into the box with the empty space back underneath us and the gap there it could be a cheaper alternative. I don't hate it. Let me repeat my yeah. Let me make sure I'm clear on that one. You gapped up to the floor. You fell back underneath the top, right? This top, and now you're sitting, and I think on a lower time frame, I couldn't really call this a box. So this one definitely you could see a 216. That one actually, I'd take it back. It's not that bad. That one you could see a decent move. So what are we doing on the cues here?
Anyone drop into run?
Anybody have any cue calls for the 567 price earlier? Anybody in run? I'm not.
Yeah, I
Is
had
Yeah.
the 565s and the Qs, and then the 56, or yeah, 50, what is it? 6350, sorry, SPX.
Gotcha.
Yep, I'm still in run.
Looks great, man. It's at that first $9 target. So, all right.
Exactly.
Anyway, for IWM, do what you want. It's not my favorite setup in the whole world, but there is a potential pullback here. We'll see how we close. We'll recheck up on the ETFs as we near the candle close here. So, I want to talk about snow really quickly because this one is given that angry face of death. You got to hedge it if you're going to stay in it. It's just I'm going to stay in it and I'm going to hedge it and I'm going to aim all the way for 217 or possibly even up to 220. But the way that it looks, it's holding its cost basis. It's definitely something that can and will bounce if we see any sort of upside, especially on our correlating ETFs. Oh my God, appeal. All right. Anyway, so snow, still hanging on to that one. Clove, I still have runners on that one. It is not really showing any sort of 24-hour candle. I think we can still make that trip down a little bit further to $2 flat. DraftKings has earnings today, if I'm not mistaken, right? Let's see. There it is.
Yes, it does.
That's what I thought. Okay, so let's see. That's right. APP Duolingo.
You see $50 on it.
Do I see $50 on DraftKings? I have a $48 target to the upside. Maybe 53. When you don't have a box up there, typically it just means it was, you didn't build any structure. It could be relatively easy to move through. But 48 is the first most tangible target that I can see in front of me. There's no boxes up here. Again, it's just a flat top. So 53 is a target to the upside on DraftKings. To the downside, which is also a possibility here, and that's 38.24. So use those targets wisely. Elf also has earnings. I have already hedged myself. Obviously 93 is a potential target to the downside as well as 100. I'm not calling this out as a fucking earnings play. So, that's not what this is. I'm not saying that for this reason. I have been holding equity. I'm up still over 100%. It makes sense for me to hedge myself. So, all right. Yeah, DraftKings I still have DraftKings. All right. If you have anything you want me to take a look at, please drop that now. And we'll take a look at it. Duolingo. Oops. That one has earnings today. Curious little fucker right here. I'm wondering if we
Way
could.
too expensive.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. Wonder if we could see a retest of 445, but man, is that thing expensive. Dave saw a pretty nasty leg down today, but has been holding its floor after wicking down a little bit. I'm kind of watching that one with all of its empty space underneath it. That might be something to potentially swing into. Uh, Again, on the floor, or it's making a floor here. So it could be an intraday thing as well if it gaps up to its old cost basis. It's on the watch list. So, all right, let's see here. Snow. Obviously, I just went over that one again. Either need a hedge or skedaddle, one of the two. CEG energy, it is up at the top. And again, when you break out, you typically want to hold that. You're not doing a great job of that at the moment. So this is definitely a candidate for a drip down, right? And you can see some of these wicks holding onto that 334. So if you want to make it back up and out, I think it's pretty obvious over here at 353.21. That is what needs to be recovered. That can get started, or would likely get started, if you can make it through that or at that range. 345. All right. Let's see here. TTD. So, again, I said this the other day. What other choice do you have when it closes green like this? You got a scary little gap down there. There's a ton of empty space. It just clearly is not operating on the kind of volume that we typically like to see. Still adhering to this channel that it's trading in as well. And so earnings is also tomorrow night. So that is something that, because of the channel that it's operating in, I could give you a $70 target to the downside, and I could also give you a target at only 95. Maybe 97, but 95 is the target that I see in front of me. Yes, Clove. ANF. Again, with that kind of candle close, it's not a spectacular amount of empty space here, but you're aiming for the 105.50 break over into 108. It's that simple. Okay, TA, up. That looks horrendous right now, especially with that overhead rejection and the pullback. You're struggling to reclaim the floor, so if you're trying to make that happen, you can kind of see there's like a bit of a baby channel here, like that. So you obviously need to get back outside of the same area that sellers controlled at $100.50. At that point, it would be a 101.80. It's difficult, right? And then above that, 102.50. And if that sounds like a lot, that's because it is. But once those are broken, that could initiate that type of move that you're looking for. So for some reason, my contracts are getting cooked and they're in the money. Reason why? What are you in? DraftKings? You could actually have dropping IV. You could have not most people play. A lot of the volume could be outside of the money while you're in the money, and there's sometimes a loss of liquidity for the in the money contracts. DraftKings is a little pricey. All right. Damn, I drank so much espresso, I gotta remind myself to breathe right now. That has earnings today or soon. Okay, so 3 times tapped your green up against the candle close, 50% of the mark. So if that's what you're looking at, it is close to earnings as well. It's going into all-time highs, if I'm not. Okay, no, it's not. So on the weekly, this is a huge, huge overhead. So breaking over this is essential. And then I'm looking over here to my left, and I'm not really seeing a whole lot. Oh, my Lord. Okay, so on the 24-hour, there's a little pocket. Oh, my God. No. Get back there. Where'd the button go? There it is. So the next target, or the potential target, is 73.75. I do think that we could go back. Yeah, Newman, or I always mispronounce that. Dude, I hate to say this because, again, the market is designed to go up, but with those holes underneath us, yes, in the back of my mind, I am absolutely looking down. I mean, I could be wrong, obviously, I can afford to do that, but I see downside. All right. XOM down further. So, man, that's why I talked about yesterday having a good expiration. But yes, that is definitely a good sign for continuation of the downside. 105.75, 105. and 104.67. So yes, that does still look pretty good. Sound 24. Does that have earnings or anything? Okay, yeah, it's earnings. Ooh, that looks like a good dump. It doesn't look great, I'm gonna be honest with you, but one thing that's standing out to me right here is that you filled up all of your empty space like so, and then you pulled back under, and you're basically sitting dead slap center. So there does look like there's a move here, punch down, and then what you have underneath you isn't super clear, but I would say to 810, maybe 750 or meltdown. Honestly, that doesn't look terrible. Now to the upside, because we don't go one-sided into anything, there is obviously some structure up there. So there's a 1525. One thing I would be paying attention to, though, I didn't go over, is how it responds to earnings, which doesn't look all that great, if I'm being honest. Yeah, none of these look good. That would lower my risk for sure. CEG. Yeah, we went over that one. Yeah, we got that one. Oscar up. On the 4 hour, it doesn't look that bad. You have a decent close at cost basis. Obviously, it's not having a good time, closing strongly above it. But yes, outside of 1475, you have a clear shot up to 1550. And if you have the juice, 1635. If this is anything worth moving, then you have empty space above that and the play could commence. But again, this is a read and react, have a good stop loss type of situation. Wolf earnings 24. So there is 0 empty space until you get above 8 and then through this box. Well, first of all, before I do anything else, wolf, hot dog water, not good, not good. Nope. Happens the day after. Not good at all. Terrible. I don't see anything earnings wise hopeful out of this one. So maybe afterwards I can make that move. All right, coin. Oof. So you are trying to pull yourself back up. You did dip down a little bit. It looks like you touched this red candle over here. Dipped a little farther under that actually. But you are trying to pull yourself back up. So it is something to, if you're short on this, it would be something to look at for a potential hedge. Or even if you end up bailing out a day trade to the upside. Right now, it looks like there's tomorrow you're liable to go and retest 311.50 and possibly 318. Now, if this wants to still go and start, making trend, I could absolutely see that 333.87 retested. That being said, right, this is the box that you're trading in, or it's not a box, it's a range. So 304 median range, 307.60, and then your floor right there. So if you start seeing meltdown material here, or you lose your floor there, then you can look back down. But you just had how many days of consecutive dumpage? 1, 2, 3. Well, maybe we don't count the third one, but we'll just say for 3 days of consecutive dumpage, with today being that wick down. So especially if you're long short on that thing, it actually could be a decent little hedge. I think tomorrow's target is those wicks of 311.50 for sure, though. Core Z uppies earnings on Thursday. So how do they respond? Not good. Not good. Decent. Not great. Not great. Not good. So overall, hit. No, I wouldn't even say hit or miss. So you have to take that into account. That that and the 1434, yes, you have empty space. Yes, 1716 would be your target to the upside. To the downside, definitely not as clear, right? You don't really have a ton of empty space, but 935 seems like something that you would lose if you lost 1080. But it's an odd setup. Would it be smart to average down? No. Snow is not giving me that if I see the potential for upside, then I'm not going to add. If anything, I'm going to hedge to where I think it's going to go. If I'm still holding, then maybe I'd take a position, set a tight stop on that, and then bail on all of it if it stops me. So, all right, IRIN. So what a response. You had a massive pullback down. You didn't lose anything. You did hold your 1550. You bounced immediately back up. Pretty good volume today. Is there a channel here or something? I think so. So with that being said, I think what I would do here is focus on this. So you have your floor, watch it 19 or 1895. And then, I mean, the lower time frame, if you do this intraday, that has a vastly kind of different setup where 1850 would shoot you up into the 1972. And then it's just a flat wall. So if you have the right juice, it'd be relatively easy to get up and out of there. But yeah, the weekly does look good, especially if you can close like that. EKNG's breaking out. Oh. Brock's earnings tomorrow. Crocs. I don't see them on here. I'm not exactly sure if they do, but I think it is soon.
Yeah, it's
So
tomorrow pre-market.
yeah, then put it on here. I can't really give you anything other than 1310 possibly or 88 down. I mean, straight up, there's really nothing else I can add to that because, there's a shit ton of empty space. If you decided to go long here with shorter expiration puts, or if you decided to go short here with our longer expiration puts with, shorter expiration calls, I mean, it is inside of a massive weekly area of consolidation. I think this candle here looks good, but again, it's the weekly candle. It's green now, could go red and be straight flat down there, maybe even going to $80. All right, coin bull. Oh, well, would you look at that? Okay, so that chart is telling us everything that we need to know, correct? The floor that we need to hold, which we bounced off of on the last 4-hour candle, and the cost basis is above. One tells us up, the other one tells us down. So we can keep that simple, right? Kind of focus on that. Now to the upside, again, it's $16 here. And then you're met with immediate resistance. This isn't necessarily empty space. It is probably more like that. So 1687 would be your next target on bull. Apple, Lockheed Martin. So for some reason, this reminds me like of UNH, but this was one of the floors that I said we needed to recover. One of those other floors was 437, but I mean, as far as a candle close is concerned, if you're taking this now, obviously it's a little bit scarier. The reason that I say it looks like UNH, wide fluctuation in price. And you could be, 440 could be an area, or possibly in 443. But even looking to my left, let's see, where's this floor at here? Yeah, that is 440. So that is the target that I see above me, and this is the floor I see below me, and you've already bounced off of it multiple times. So if you're long, that's your stop loss. If you're short, that's your entry. And when I give you guys, just an FYI, if you're on TikTok or you're on Discord, doesn't matter. If I give you 24-hour and an hourly analysis, you cannot just take a play based off that. You have to go down like to a lower time frame. If I don't elaborate any further, and I can't always spend that amount of time on every single chart, but if I give you 24-hour higher time frame analysis, it's your job to go down, right? Look at the 5-minute or whatever, 15-minute, and see where that candle needs to close there to get a good solid entry. So, all right, we'll see if that plays out tomorrow. All right, Apple had a tremendous rip up today, right? And at this point, the gloves are off. Another wick off of 215.75, right? You've got still empty space to the upside all the way to 220. Shit, you got empty space all the way to 230. Today, I think lit those contracts up, and if you do decide to take this, I can't really blame you. That's a significant move up, and of course, at resistance, the most expected thing is a rejection. But I would be looking at 203 possibly as a retest, or not a retest, excuse me, as a hedge if you decide to take this. That is a significant enough rise back up off of cost basis that I know that the volume that's in there is gone. So returning back to that area is non-negotiable. We really can't do that. So it is, a 24-hour candle looks good. It's about as good as a candle as you're going to get. The lower time frame's pulling back. If it pulls you back under cost basis, you can only hope for a gap up at that point to be above cost basis and move to that 220 target. Now, there is enough empty space that if you have a long enough expiration, it might be worth trying to let those run into that empty space above. So, Mara to the upside, obviously probably mirroring coin in that manner. And yes, there is a play to the upside, and I think is probably more well established. One could possibly look out 2 weeks, or next week rather, either outside of a 1622 or a reclaim of 1662 and a punchback over 1725. We should be looking up towards 1871. Macy's 24-hour. I have not looked at Macy's in a long time either. What are you trying to do? Up. So on the weekly, you're coming off of what looks to be cost basis. It's pulled up a little bit right there. On the 24-hour, you do have empty space. So the only thing I can tell you right now, based on what I'm seeing on the 24-hour, is that a retest of 1271. Now, there is more empty space, and this is why your lower time frames are pretty important. So here's what you're going to do, right? Hourly, there's your range. Hourly, box, there's your cost basis. There's your gap at 1262. And here's your first structure at 1290. From there, you're going to have to measure momentum. If you have the juice, that's definitely an area to potentially reject. So, what we haven't had a lot of on TikTok? I haven't had any hate and ass comments, dude. I'm kind of bored. Not with you guys, but where the haters at? Run. Yeah, so let me go over this one again. As far as the 24-hour candle is concerned, it's fine. It has had a 4 consecutive days of downside, so a potential bounce, somewhere along these lines is possible. Now this, when you go to the hourly, that box, quickly turns into almost a range where you only get one off the top, maybe 2 off the bottom, and then you just rip straight up and out. So putting it there, it is now $9. That is a need to be lost level to lead you down. And I would say 1835 is your next target. But of course, we got to measure what's above. 30-minute time frame, really, really choppy, really, really messy. So there's a couple of, I would look for where these floors on the 24-hour and your lower time frame boxes align. So I would look at 966 as a potential retest. Only Scorpios rising thrive with haters. Is that true? My
I
Scorpio.
think Run has earnings tomorrow too. Or
It does. If it has earnings, I would be looking at a 1075.
yeah.
Just here to be a hater. Cool. I don't like elf puts necessarily. I mean, yes, I like elf puts because I can see the potential downside there. There's also a gap to the upside. So, I mean, shit, there's a gap all the way to 130. So there could be a nice juicy bounce right up. I am hedging myself because of the equity position that I'm holding for a potential drop to 100 and 93.66. That is not a play that I like or want to be in. It's a play that I have to do. I have to do it. So, Mel, sorry. I am not super fond of Baba's. Just doing analysis on Baba. Now, I think last time we talked about like that bottom and then bound, and it did gap up significantly, and then it stopped at that 123. Pulled back, retested. Today you saw a significant green candle close. That's always tough though, because you can see a significant green candle close and see a candle open the exact, the next day. Now, when I look at this instinctively, it tells me, or I see a run to 130 potentially. So while it's not in my wheelhouse, it is over 123.21 that you're looking for. That hedges would have to be some ridiculous like 108 or something like that. Keep it out of the money. So I am in clove, yeah. Pava? Earnings next week. If not up, then down. That's a tough one. So you have a box, almost dead slap center in the middle of this low and that high. That is a tough one. You got a weekly gap at 97. You have a gap at 77.91. So here at 78, and part of me is like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, fuck, I mean, that's heavy. That's a heavy box. So maybe you pull back, maybe you do 1, 2, 3, and then Kava provides an excellent setup to the upside. Honestly, I know it might not be what you want, but I would rather that fucker go down and then bounce and give you that rip up and that floor retest of 110. Keep that one on the watch list. I want that to go down. I'm gonna be honest with you. 74 would be sick. But if it does rip up, 96.80 be a median target there. So ARHS earnings are Thursday. Good heavens. Yeah. So this one candle close outside of the range. Said this yesterday. If you can move up, I see a target of 1150. Maybe, yeah, 1155 being the, it's almost hard to call it a box, but TTD earnings end of day Thursday. Yeah, that's right. So I have 95 up and I have, I see 77. I mean, if this thing was to reject, I could see all the way down to 70, 71, so this is an interesting setup going into earnings for sure. I don't know if this is, building going into earnings so we can rip and just go straight through it. I mean, shoot your shot. Don't be scared. As long as the risk reward is in your favor. FT&T, can you check it out? Has earnings? Okay. So first question is, how do you respond to earnings? 108 to 93. You might have been able to catch something. That's a half decent little fucking move. This is okay. 105, open up at 111 and immediately dump. Here you have a pretty decent reaction. Sorry, Coco. There's obviously a way better. So I mean, it wants to react. Sometimes it doesn't. So definitely a hit or miss situation on this one. That being said, you have a shit ton of overhead, right? What I mean by that is you have a lot of pushback, right? Whenever you hit these floors, does not seem like buyers are really into it. So my first instinctual target here is 91.42. Second target, I think on this one, I mean, again, maybe 78. To the upside, it is all-time highs. So if you were like wick down, touch 90, and then bounce and rip out, maybe 120. I can't really help you there. So Dollar General to the upside. I'm doing a little bit on DKNG, yeah. So Dollar General, good rip. You touched that old cost basis, so now it's 115 that you need on the 24-hour to get a good solid punchback. I think right now, you could even see with Dollar General, you could even see a 111.78 retest before you keep going up. But it does look good. It, momentary little pullback here. AAL for that. Okay, so you did in fact pull yourself back up, punch through the box. So tomorrow I could definitely see a $12 target. I have both sides on DKNG. I have $50 calls though. They cost me 58 cents. I bought like $680 worth. Not a lot. It's not my favorite thing in the whole world. Lilly earnings to early. Oh, yeah. Ooh, that's a tough one. So, I mean, it has the empty space above it to like give it a squeeze over 820, 828. It's a no-brainer, probably up to 900 or 896. To the downside, however, it also is sitting on that signal. So you could be looking at a drop down into 670s. The question here is, can it move? I think on earnings, it does do a pretty decent job of moving. So Disney up. So anytime you hit something, right, it's where you bounce. Now, this morning I told you 116 was the floor above you. How many times have you hit that, right? And that's what you're hitting right now. It's actually what you're rejecting right now. So if we go down to the 30-minute or possibly even the 15-minute, it starts to become, a range, right? So at the moment, right, it's struggling to get through that. In order for me to feel good about it, above 117.80, definitely see that empty space get filled back up. But yeah. Where am I posting this, sir? I am posting this on TikTok. Or on YouTube, sorry. I think I can post. No, I don't think I can post these on. They're too long. Disney DNUT earnings. Yeah, DNUT does have earnings. That's right. So, I mean, if you want my honest answer here, it doesn't look great. There's empty space to the downside. There's so much to the upside. Maybe a crazy surprise could send this to the, but you got to be looking at like 272 as a potential target to the downside. Oh my God, yeah. It's it, especially if you have equity. Unfortunately, the setup just doesn't look super favorable. At the moment, a part of me almost thinks that there's a large weekly box that could be formed here. So, that 2 to 265 would make sense. I mean, if it would have to recover so much, $4 would have to be surpassed, 442 would have to be surpassed or closed above. These are like, yeah, so like step 1, step 2, and then shit. I mean, yeah, reclaiming that floor at 530 would be perfect, but all right. DNUT earnings. Amazon. Um, 63.55 ceiling. You have a range there. It's not a box, it is a range. So it's not necessarily a ceiling. There's a target of 6380, 6390, if you could punch through that. I mean, yeah, I don't know if you guys see the same thing I do, but my God, do I definitely see a pullback at some point. Oh, let me just say this. When it happens, I'm not going to be scared to pull the trigger. When I see these triggers fire, I'm going to take my fucking trade. If it was SPX, the box underneath me, the empty space down to 63.23, you know, there's a fucking setup here for sure. Yeah, so for DK and G, you know, again, there's a couple variables here that weren't my favorite. Earnings hasn't always been, you know, you've seen some crazy rips. But it does, you could go ahead and just call this what it is, a hit or miss. It definitely is hit or miss. In the last couple of earnings, it's done decently. I have a target of just 48 to the upside. If this thing could squeeze up and out because it's been underneath the ceiling for quite some time and now consolidating underneath it, you know, maybe we see a squeeze out to 53. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Rogue? Aye. All right. Maybe again, you know, if you're as far as DK and G is concerned, you know, setup wise, this is 6 out of 10. It's not a Nike. It's not Clear. It's not, you know, Schwab. And I know that's me being picky, but like that's also me being profitable. I'm not saying I'm not putting money in it. I'm just not, you know, this isn't one of those ones where I'm like, yeah, this one's going up. You know, I feel great about this one. This looks really good. So I mean, like if you took it and if it doesn't work out and you're okay, just imagine it right now. That money, whatever you put in it, is gone, zero, right? Just think about it. If you can handle that and keep it pushing tomorrow, do what you want to do. All right. Dash has earnings tonight. Well, fuck, dude. I hope that thing rips. You know, why didn't I buy equity in this thing? I said I was going to, and then I never did it. Just gonna buy it fucking
We made a
back.
lot of money on Dash like a year and a half ago.
I know. I should have.
I just kind of fell off our radar.
Yeah, I did.
Same
mean-
thing with Maple.
No, I still own equity in Maple.
Well, I'm just meaning since you made a shit ton of money.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm a kind of a harlot, if you will, with stocks.
A little, just to, disclaimer, Maple and Cart or Maple and DoorDash are not like Tesla and Rivian or Lucid. They're not the same.
They're what?
They're not the same. Cart
Yeah.
and DoorDash, great, but just because it's an EV doesn't mean it's going to do.
You know what? If I ever can't figure out the difference between a potato and an orange, I will bring that to you. Because I feel
You've
like
got
you
my
could.
number.
Yep. Thanks, man.
I feel dumber now.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one, man.
Did Astra just cast a fucking spell on us, dude? What'd you do to us, dude?
I don't know. Did I?
I don't even know how to walk anymore. What the fuck just happened?
I want an EV.
Potter over there cooking people.
Yeah.
I
Oh.
can point names and say colors.
PLTR? I don't know. Keep making more money on it. Is that earnings today? Let it rip. I can't really offer you anything. I'm watching the same shit you are. I got the same alerts you probably do. I could probably raise those up now, right? But you're outside of the box. Good to go. What else can you ask for? This shit's gonna be running.
20.
You guys saw what they some people are laughing about it. The White House website, they took down some of the, I think it was Article 5, 8, and 9 from the Constitution. It's pretty cool. So yeah, PLTR is probably going to go up, is what I'm trying to say.
Did you read their they had a thing talking about the future of blue collar people using AI and technologies to help it better enable them and stuff. And it was an interesting conversation.
I'm sure. I mean, there's going to be good and bad. that comes out of things like this. Like, dude, I have almost hit the buy button on a exoskeleton for my legs. I don't need them. I just want them. I just want an exo. It gives you 200 more pounds of push. I think there was another one with like 500.
Oh, I've seen that
Yeah, probably-
movie. It was pretty good.
I'll kick a hole in someone's. Dude, I will kick
Did you
someone
look
right
at
in the
Trip?
knee. About to take a
Did you
trip,
look at
dude.
Trip?
No, I didn't.
I don't think. Okay. It has earnings, I
Tonight?
believe. I think so.
That one's a tough one, man. I cannot lie. It almost looks like it's going to follow through with the move to the downside, where it could.
I hope so.
Yeah, I see 150, or I see 15.25. Um, the other part of me is looking at the green here, and it's like, well, could you squeeze out, and see a
Yeah.
fucking big rip? So, I don't know if I would go one way into this. It actually is pretty interesting when you look at it, the three off of the top. That shit has to have an alert on it eventually. I feel like keep an eye, maybe even on the short volume as well.
Yeah, 1866 I have up to the upside as a trigger to look at it.
Going to be
But I have
carrying your.
the 16s to the downside, but I don't know if I should sell some or hedge it.
Edge. By the way, if you're on TikTok, if you guys aren't following me on Instagram, I'm posting more on there. Trying to post feet pics. Hurry. All right, UNH down. Oh wait, did I skip Peloton? The fuck is Peloton? That's right. God, I can't believe they traded that high. Absolutely diabolical. This is have earnings or something. Oh fuck it.
Yeah, tomorrow pre-market.
I can't say anything other than 850. That's the only target that looks clear to me. 850 up. Doesn't look like it wants to go down, but 850, if you can trigger past that, there's more empty space, 950. And at that point, you kind of just need to be looking for the right squeeze up. I mean, if I'm being honest with you, I haven't seen a Piton. Let's see. Yeah, I haven't seen a crazy earnings. So something like this, man, they need something big. Their bikes better fucking pair with Oculus headsets. Damn, that was a good idea. Damn, I gotta restore. Damn, hold on.
Really good idea.
I gotta call Pete Peloton. Hold on, guys. I call the patent office. Have I done Tesla? The question is, has Tesla done you? That's the real question. Now, this is actually
Do you need to ask?
no, but yesterday's analysis was fire. If you were swinging into this, I know some of you were. It was able to hold on, right, and it held that lower time frame uptrend that we were talking about as well. Exploded up through the empty space, and as of right now, we're holding onto that floor. Explore the hourly though, things are going to get weird, right? So we're going to bring this down ever so slightly. That's 317. So on the 30-minute, right, it's 317 that we're holding. And then you're going to have to measure this box by box. 1, 320.75. And it's almost tough for me to call that a box, but the next target would be 325. You got a lot to work through and you need the right momentum. I absolutely, without a doubt, would be in some sort of hedge. That we know Tesla, and that thing definitely could melt down. So even if it was TSLL aiming for the gap underneath you, just, again, move down, hit a floor. And a lot of the times you're going to retest if you left empty space behind, but we've left some signs that there is potential continuation there. So, Amazon, it's up again. I mean, as far as I can see right now, 224 is possibly a target here as well. I think the only thing I saw here Let's see if it's even applicable. That's it. That's the channel. 224.
I know we're not a signal full into a panel 185s.
What'd you say? You sound like a robot anyway.
Oh, I do. I'm sorry.
Said you're gonna give signals, dude?
I said I know we're not a signal chat, but time to fold into Pan W.
Oh Lord.
185.
Oh Lord.
Yes, sir.
Why don't you do that for us and let us know?
Looks like it might be turning.
Where are you at, Chad?
Yeah, you can work on this week.
Mm-hmm. So Hertz
Where
has
am I at?
above
Seattle?
six. Oh, you're breaking up a lot. Above $6, there's empty space. Obviously, below the floor, there's $5.35 and $5, and then more empty space all the way to $4.50. They're gonna pull out your account on Dash. Yeah, listen, you don't even want to fucking know, dude. Shit's crazy. Hold on. All right, there we go. Sorry, I was trying to make money too here, guys. Can I make a little money, please? ET down
No, Rick
earnings.
Scott.
Oh, can I just make some money fairly, guys? I know I have information you don't, but I just don't like this assault on rich people. You know, I don't want to be poor.
This is outrageous.
I don't want to be poor. Bitch, we don't. What the hell? Nobody wants to be poor. Ain't got to do all that though. Airbnb, is it doing anything? Is that earnings tonight? Right? Yes. No? Maybe.
Yes.
That's what I thought. I'm so good at missing calls. I mean, what do we think? Is Airbnb making money right now? Has anybody in
I
here
just
booked
did
an
it
Airbnb
weekend.
lately?
I did. Going to the
I
Keys.
flew on American Airlines, and that one had a pop up, and my contracts are up, so that's good.
How many single moms
So
fit in those
not related.
Airbnbs? Sorry. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Sorry. Sorry. I'm
You're
sorry.
not sorry. Why would you say it?
A little sorry. I'm sorry that
Why
it
do you
fell out of
support
my
you?
mouth so fast, you know? I didn't have a chance to
You
stop
pushed it.
Pause. You guys.
You are wild.
Yep. You know, I think obviously it's hard to imagine the upside. Big green candle, you know, ripping up, but maybe 153. At this point, with the leg down, I see 118 as a target to the downside. It does not have clean boxes. It does have clean ranges, which that range bottoms out at yeah, $18. So, all right, give me a second. Remember, sometimes the best hedge is not giving a fuck. Let me just dip us into water. The fuck was that?
That's funny.
Chat's dirty. Clean it up.
That's funny.
Hold on.
Guys, I just got in today. I need a signal. Anything?
Oh
Shoot.
my god.
Tesla. Full Tesla.
You're pushing the button.
Best hedges, no hedge. I like hedges, man. In the right conditions, dude, hedges can feel good. Some people do too much hedging. Like just they should be hedging every time a red candle pops up. The best hedge is having no money. Damn. What on Yeah, that works too. On what?
Marcel
Airbnb?
was hedging after the bell yesterday.
That's true. Take away the H. All right. Let's see here. Walmart, because Potter doesn't. What do you mean Walmart doesn't like it?
Oh, don't even act like you like it now. No.
I didn't like it. I never liked it.
Yeah, you gave me shit about it. Gave me fuel and motivation.
How the fuck did I give you shit about this?
You did. You
I
didn't
didn't.
like it.
It's because I didn't give you a gold star or a scratch and
You're
sniff
like
star.
Walmart never runs, and Walmart doesn't pay, and Walmart doesn't do this, and Walmart paid me like a lot of money today.
I don't think I said. I don't think I said any three of those statements, but okay.
Like, I may have played a lot of it in my head, but there was some negativity out of you.
I think you wanted that out of me, so that way. Celsius has earnings tonight. Oh shit. Part of me feels like that could still rip and go to 52. Look at Monster Energy, dude. They don't give a fuck.
They're amped.
They got a lot of downside on that thing too. That's a weird one, man. I mean, you're up against the floor here. You're retesting. You got 39.72. So if earnings doesn't respond well or nothing happens, then something could happen afterwards because that would set you up. So
Did you guys say Trump was speaking tonight?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I personally, yeah, I just didn't take it, but I didn't have it on my watch list because I just don't, even after all of that, I just didn't have it on my radar for the empty space that was available on it. It just didn't look good to me. All right, that is market close. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording so it doesn't freeze.